Hi guys, in this video tutorial I'm going to show you how to make the Diamond Treble Square, which is made using two very beginner friendly stitches, the single crochet stitch and the treble stitch, using US terminology. So the Diamond Treble Square is the third square in the series that I've tried to put together, featuring 4 different squares for my Geometric Square Blanket. Each square features a different stitch and a different geometric design. So I'll link down in the description below both the blog posts and video tutorials for the previous 2 squares that I did, which are the Triangle Puff Square and the Square Berry Square. But let's get started. So for this video tutorial for the Diamond Treble Square, I will use my 4mm hook and Paintbox DK acrylic yarn, and I am using this color, which is, I believe, raspberry pink, but you can use whichever yarn and hook combination you like. Just bear in mind, if you're following along with the pattern, that if you do use a different yarn and a different hook, then the sizes of your squares will be a bit different than mine. However, if you use that same yarn consistently across your squares, they should be all perfectly compatible. So we have a loop on our hook right now, and we'll go ahead and chain 32 chains. So now I have 32 chains, and my first row will be a row of single crochet stitches. So to do that, I will take my hook and I will place a single crochet stitch on that second loop from the hook, or second chain from the hook. So we never count this loop that is on our hook. This is our first one, and therefore this is a second one. So we'll go through it, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through 2. And this is our first single crochet stitch. So I will go ahead and finish this row by putting 1 single crochet in each of the chains. So I should have 31 single crochets at the end of this row. And if you need help or would like to have a step-by-step tutorial for the single crochet stitch, I will leave my tutorial for this in the description box below so you can have a look. So I'll meet you once this row is finished, so that we can start together row 2 for this design. So now I have done 31 single crochet stitches across my piece. I will chain 1 and I'll turn my piece. So to start row 2, we will need to place 1 single crochet stitch in the first 3 stitches. So that's my second crochet stitch, single crochet stitch, and that's my third single crochet stitch. And in this next 4th stitch, I will place a treble crochet stitch. And again, this is US terminology, so I need to yarn over twice, put my hook through the stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 only, yarn over and pull through 2 only again, and then yarn over and pull through the remaining 2. So you have a much longer stitch now. And again, if you need a more detailed tutorial for the treble stitch, again, I link one in the description box for you. But it's a fairly straightforward and definitely very beginner friendly stitch. So once I've done my treble, I will now do single crochet stitches. I will place 1 single crochet stitch in each of the next 11 stitches. And you see, once I start placing the single crochet stitches in between those trebles, I actually get that beautiful texture that I want. So you can see it already building up. You can see it's a bit 3D. So now I have done 11 single crochet stitches, and I will place another treble here. And for the remainder of the row, I will place another 11 single crochet stitches, and then I should have 4 stitches left on my row, and then I will place 1 treble crochet and then 3 single crochet stitches. So this will give me a symmetrical look in terms of how we started our row. So I'll go ahead and place those stitches and meet you at the end of our row so I can show you how our piece is looking. So here is my finished row 2. To turn my piece, I will chain 1, and I always add a chain 1, a turning chain to my piece. And my next row, row number 3, just like every other odd numbered row for this piece, will be a series of single crochet stitches. So you should have 31 single crochet stitches before you start with row 4. So I'll meet you once I've done that so we can start with that row 4. So to start row 4, I will place 2 single crochet stitches, and then in the third stitch I'll put a treble, followed by a single crochet in the next stitch, and then another treble. And then I will place 9 single crochet stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And so now we've reached the place where we had put our previous treble. So here we need to put 2 trebles in between a single crochet. So again, I'll put my treble in the next stitch, a single crochet in between them, and then my second treble. And again, I will finish here by putting another 9 single crochet stitches. And once I have done those 9 single crochet stitches, I will place another treble, a single, a treble, and then 2 single crochet stitches. And again, that will just mean that I have the same finish here at the end as I did here in the start. So I'll meet you again once I've completed that, those few stitches, and I've completed the row so that you can see how it looks. I will also do row 5, which is our row of single crochet chains. So I'll pick up the video back on row 6 so you can see where we are. So here I am, I'm ready to start row 6. And in this row, we will be making 3 treble crochets for each of our diamonds. So to do that, chain 1 in that first stitch, and then you'll place a treble in that next stitch, a single crochet, another treble, so that's our second treble, 1 more single crochet, and then our third treble. And now in between our 2 diamonds, we will place 7 single crochet stitches. Like so. If I were to turn my piece, you will see that my treble is really starting to show now. And for the rest of this row, what you will do is you will place another treble, a single, a treble, a single, a treble. You'll go ahead and place 7 single crochets, and here when you reach the end of your piece, you will finish quite in the same way that you started, by doing a treble, a single, a treble, a single, a treble, and another single. I'll chain 1, do another row of single crochet stitches, and then for the row after, row 8, we will start looking at how we also create our offset diamonds in between the ones that we've already started on. So I'll meet you back for that. So now I'm ready to start row 8, and this is the row where we start building our diamonds here in between or offset from the existing diamonds that we have already crocheted. So to start off, I've already done my chain 1 so I can turn my piece. What we will do is we will place 2 single crochets, and then we'll place 1 treble, followed by 1 single crochet, and then another treble. And then what we will do is we will place 4 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And here we will place a treble, and that is the start of our diamond shape here. And we will do another 4 single crochets here after our treble. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we will repeat the same series of stitches starting from that first treble that we placed here in that 3rd stitch. So that means 1 treble, you pull some yarn, another single crochet, another treble, and then 4 single crochets, 1 treble, another 4 single crochets, and then you should end by having 1 treble, 1 single crochet, 1 treble, and 2 single crochets. You'll chain 1, do a row of single crochets, which should be a total of 31 because that doesn't change, and then you should be ready to start row number 10, in which we'll essentially finish this first diamond and continue building the offset one. So I'll meet you back for row 10. So now I'm ready to start row 10. So we will be finishing off our first diamond and continue building that offset one in the middle. So to do that, we will need to place again a number of single crochets to start off. So we will be placing 3 single crochets. So that's quite similar to the first row that we did of trebles here, but with a change, because now we have in the middle here where we had just pure single crochets before, we will now be adding more trebles for this little guy here, the little diamond. But you start off with 3 single crochets, 1 treble, like so, and then you continue with 4 single crochets, and then you put 2 trebles, sorry, you put 1 treble, a single crochet, and then you put your second treble. Which is then followed again by 4 single crochets, like so. And if I'm to turn my piece around, you will see that this first diamond is completed. We now have that second row of trebles for our offset one. And to finish off this row, we will put here another treble, 4 single crochets, then a treble, a single crochet and a treble, another 4 single crochets, 1 treble, and we'll finish off by doing the 3 single crochets just like how we started. We'll chain 1, do another row of single crochets, and then I'll meet you back so that we can do row 12 together. So now I'm ready for row 12, which is actually a very straightforward row, because all you're going to do is do 7 single crochets, a treble, a single, a treble, a single, and a treble, then another 7 single crochets, repeat this treble and single crochet cluster, do another 7 single crochets, and you should be reaching the end of the row. But I'll show you one of the pattern repeats, or one pattern repeat here, so I can show you how it looks a bit. So 7 single crochets to start with. And in my blog, I have row by row instructions, including a diagram, if that's of any help. Again, I'm going to leave the link for that down in the description box below. So here I've done 7 single crochet stitches, and I'll make my first treble in this 8th stitch. Then accompanied by a single in the next stitch, another treble, a single, there we go, and our last 3rd treble for this little cluster. And then I'll go ahead and place another 7 single crochets here, just to show you how it looks. So 2, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And this is how it looks. So you see our row here is built, our diamond here is getting built up. So what I'll do is I'll repeat here the treble, single, treble, single, treble, and then finish off with 7 single crochets, chain 1, do another row of single crochets, which should be 31, and then I should be ready for row 14. So I'll meet you back for that row. So this row 14 here, which I'm about to start, will actually be very, very similar to the row that you've already worked on, this row here, which I believe is row 10. This is because we are reintroducing the next diamond shape for this, so we need to create 1 treble, but are also reducing the trebles in this diamond to give it its shape. So here you can look a bit how our pattern is building up. You'd be essentially in this point here where you need 1 treble, but in this first diamond, but 2 trebles here. So I'll show you how this looks and how we do it, and then, as I said before, you can have a look at the row by row instructions in the blog post linked below, where there's also a diagram. So we'll kick off with 3 single crochets, do 1 treble, and then put another 4 single crochets if it wants to go through, 2, 3, and 4, before then making another series of trebles. So here we have another treble, a single crochet, and another treble. And I'll go ahead and do another 4 single crochets just to show you how it looks on the right side of our piece. And that's how it's looking. So you will just repeat that row that we did before, this row here, row number 10, for this row as well. You'll go do another row of single crochets, which will be your row 15. And I'll meet you back to show you row 16. And really at that point, that is really the pattern. So you should be able to continue building on your piece and adapt it to use it for other patterns or do as you wish with it. So I'll pause the video and come back so that we can start with row 16. And so now we're at row 16. We're ready to start with that row. And row 16 is actually the same row that we crocheted before. It is actually row 8 here. So you'll see this one here. It's because, again, we'll need 2 trebles. We will need to reduce it to 1 treble here, 2 trebles, 1 treble and 2 trebles. And really from now onwards, the pattern is really created by rows that I've already gone through and explained. So I'll go ahead, show you how we do this row, do my row of single crochet stitches, and then come back so that I can explain to you how we build up the rest of the square. So for row 16, we will start with 2 single crochets, a treble, a single crochet, another treble, and then we'll place 4 single crochets. And then I will do 1 treble, to be followed again by another 4 single crochets. And that's how your piece should start looking. So feel free to go ahead and complete this row as well as the next one. And in the meantime, I will show you how the next few rows are built up. So if you've completed your next 2 rows and you're really ready to start with row 18, what you really need to know is that row 18, which is this row here, is very similar to this row down here. It's actually exactly the same, and that is actually row 6. So if you're looking to build your pattern in the same way that I've done, which gives us a total of 35 rows, then row 18 should be exactly like your row 6. Then you'll do a series of single crochet, so that will be your row 19. And as of row 20 to 29 here, you will just repeat the previous rows that you did from row 8 to 17. Will essentially bring you up here. And then this row here, which is row 30, this will be a repetition of row 18 down here. And then the next row after that, which is 31, will be single crochets. Row 32, which is this one here that I'm pointing with the hook, is just a repeat of that row 4 from the very beginning. And really the penultimate row, which is row 34, is actually none other than row number 2. And the last row, row 35, is really just a series of single crochet stitches. So this is really how this square is built up. It measures about 8 by 8 inches. You can have a look at my blog post if you like to make sure that you have a row by row guide of the pattern and how it's built up. Or otherwise, feel free to adapt this pattern and use this diamond shape for any other creation or project you like. So I hope you've enjoyed this pattern tutorial and I hope you give it a try. Let me know if you do, and happy crochet!